Hello, George Hoge with another Business English Conversations video lesson. Today we're going to talk about bureaucracy and common sense and how they seem to collide too many times. Common sense is kind of a lost art in the business world. It just isn't there very much anymore. Common sense, the ability to perceive, understand, and judge. The ability to perceive, understand what's going on, what's happening, and to make some judgments. Bureaucracy seems to be the norm in the large business world today. Bureaucracy is complex, it's inefficient, it's inflexible, and quite frankly, it's usually ineffective. Companies are set up with rules, regulations, and guidelines. And these are based on the company policies, practices, and procedures. Well, I'm not suggesting that we mess with the company policies. Company has policies that are designed to protect them in the business world, in the government, in the financial community, and so on. Also, they have policies in terms of the way they treat their customers, what they do with their products, how they make them, what they're going to make, what they're not going to make. Yeah, and that's fine. We don't want to mess with that. But when it comes to practices and procedures and the guidelines that are generally incorporated into practices and procedures of a company, here's where common sense can really help out. Because you know what common sense does? It creates innovation. It creates motivation. It creates creativity. A bureaucracy within a company kind of inhibits each and every one of those. Let me give you an example, one that used to drive me crazy when I was in a large corporation. Large corporations, no matter what the department, what the organization, they create a lot of reports. Okay? Daily reports, weekly reports, monthly, quarterly, annually, report. And they give all kinds of information, marketing information, financial information, customer demographics. Just a large company will have a lot of reports. Well, when I was working in a large company, particularly when I became a manager, I got to looking at all of the reports that I was getting. And I got a ton of them. And of course, this was back in the days when it was 90% of it was written. So it was paper. So I'd get a stack like that of reports every month, every week. And I looked at those reports and I thought, wait a minute, something's going wrong here. Because there's one or two or three of these reports I never look at. I looked at them once, first time I ever saw them. And I said, this doesn't do anything for me. I don't need this report. I don't want this report. So I checked with a lot of my peer managers, and then I checked with the managers above me. And come to find out, sure enough, there were a number of reports that nobody cared about. They ended up in the trash can. Or in today's world, where we do the everything comes by way of internet, email, whatever, the reports just got deleted. So first off, I went to some of the managers and I said, and that's how I found out that they didn't use any of these reports. So I went back and I told my folks, and I said, here are all the reports we produce. And here are the ones I want you to eliminate. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do not generate those reports anymore. Now, it's not like the material and the data and the information is lost, because it's still there. But it just isn't usable. Somebody wants it, hey, we can pop that up for you. So we eliminated a whole bunch of reports. Common sense decision. You don't need it, don't generate it. What did that do for us? Saved us a lot of time, saved the people who were receiving the reports a lot of time. Therefore, it saved money. It gave everybody an opportunity to do something else. It gave my folks a chance to be a little more creative and create reports that were more meaningful than anything we'd ever had before. A common sense decision bucking the bureaucratic system. Simple thought, but it works. Give you another example. A lot of companies use purchase orders. And of course, to create a purchase order, you got to have some level of approval. I understand that. But there's companies that I've heard of where it takes a total of 8 people maybe to approve a purchase order. Usually it's the 4 people or so within the organization that wants to buy something. And then another 4 people that are probably in the purchasing or finance or accounting or one of those areas that also have to sign on. Now, I'm not just talking about big ticket items, lots of money. I'm talking about every purchase order. I mean, a $200 purchase order to buy something, supplies, whatever. 4 people within the department or within the organization have to sign off on it. That means probably, at a minimum, you're talking 2 managers, possibly 3. 2 or 3 levels of management within the organization. Then the request goes to either the purchasing department or the finance or whatever, depending on how your organization is set up. And lo and behold, there's 3 or 4 people within that organization that have to approve a purchase order, approve the actual creation of the purchase order and sending it to the vendor. Again, we're talking minimum 2, probably 3 levels of management to require a purchase order. Let's get back to what I said before. $200. That's not a lot of money for a big corporation. And it takes 2 or 3 levels of management in 2 different organizations to approve a purchase like that. You got a problem. We've got a problem with our managers if we allow that to continue to happen. Because those 2 or 3 levels of management obviously don't trust the people down below them to make wise and prudent decisions for the company. Come on, couple $100, put the levels down lower. There's got to be a break point where an employee can actually ask for a purchase order. Maybe an employee and his manager, just to be safe. 2 people. But another 1 or 2 levels, a second or third line manager to approve $200 purchase? That doesn't make sense. That's not common sense. That's bureaucracy. It's a CYA effort. That's all it is. And that's what happens with the bureaucracy. More and more and more regulations, more and more insistence on higher levels of people approving things. Until one day, you've only got 1 or 2 people in the company approving things. So what happens to everybody else down below? Not going to be creative, not going to make any judgments, not going to be innovative. Just fill out the papers, send it on. Fill out the document, send it on. Type in the request, send it on. Come on. As a manager, you hire good people. You hire good people and you want them to grow. You want them to improve. You want them to contribute to the company. Give them some leeway. Make some common sense decisions. Let your people do what you hired them to do. This is one of the basic management guidelines, in my mind: fight up, support down. Support your people. Move your issues up to your managers. Go to the next level manager and say, look, this doesn't make sense. I want to make a common sense decision to stop doing this report, to reduce the number of people it takes to approve this document or that document. Put some skin in the game. Make a common sense decision. Bureaucracy without some common sense built in there just destroys a company. It's unproductive. It destroys the whole time management concept. It delays processes. It upsets people. It upsets peers. It upsets vendors. It upsets customers. It upsets managers. It inhibits any kind of change, particularly positive change. It destroys creativity. It destroys innovation. Bottom line, I'll leave you with these words. If you've got the opportunity, and I know you do in a large company, use some common sense. Eliminate, consolidate, redesign, and keep this thought in mind. There's got to be a better way. And then make it happen. That's my thoughts on bureaucracy and common sense. I'll see you next time.